from Southwest Florida's news leader. This is Wink News at 11.
Love hurts, love kills. A husband accused of squeezing the life out of his wife. For the first time, one neighbor describes her final screams for help.
Cops make a tragic mistake shooting a man dead after a prank call. Plus,
they took my green card and my money, my license, my social security.
Crooks ruining your holiday plans are still on our streets. Where they are targeting their victims, all new.
It's getting cooler and it's going to get colder. I have details coming up.
Developing on the Nightbeat, a bad romance takes a very dark turn. New documents reveal a crime of passion. A wife strangled when her husband makes a surprising discovery on her cell phone. We brought you the breaking news last night when deputies rushed to the scene. Tonight, investigators say the husband has confessed to the crime. Reporter Nicole Valdez is live outside the complex in Bonita Springs. Nicole.
24 hours later, this neighborhood in Bonita Springs is dead silent. Many neighbors here telling us that family only lived in their second-story apartment for 4 months, but many of them now wondering how issues with their marriage ended in murder, especially those who heard every word, scream, and cry for help.
I was literally shaking.
Just steps from her front door, Francesca Ellerby could hear the victim and her children begging for her life.
Screaming, yelling, crying, don't touch my mother, don't kill her.
Minutes later, Lee County investigators got a call from inside the apartment. The victim's husband, Virender Yadav, called 911 after deputies say he strangled his wife of 15 years.
I've never experienced this before.
Ellerby says detectives came to her door and asked for every detail, but she could only describe what she heard.
It sounded just right outside my door, so I knew I couldn't open the door. Who knows if, he could have had a gun on him or anything like that, so it could have been dangerous.
Investigators spent almost 24 hours at the scene. They say Yadav confessed to killing his wife after she threatened to leave him for another man, one she'd been texting for some time.
There was no reason for him to just strangle her and kill her. To me, I think he deserves to be in jail for what he did.
Tonight, she says even just looking at her neighbor's door is painful. 2 children are now without a mom, and neighbors like Ellerby wish they could have done more. And Yadav is now facing second-degree murder charges. On the Nightbeat, I'm Nicole Valdez. Wink News now.
And breaking new details tonight about a frightening workplace shooting in Southern California. Long Beach police say a man walked into a law firm where he worked and shot 2 men. Then he killed himself. One of the victims died. The other man managed to drive himself to the hospital, and he's in stable condition. A SWAT team searched the rest of the building, and no other victims were found. It's still unclear why the gunman went on the shooting rampage. And Lee County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a death near Lakes Park. Deputies tell us they're investigating the death of one person. We don't know their gender or age, and we still don't know how they died. Count on Wink News to let you know when we find out.
New on the Nightbeat, a car slams into a woman outside of a bar. The accident happened in the parking lot of Foxborough Sports Tavern on Thomason Drive. That's near Tamiami Trail in Collier County. An ambulance took the woman to the hospital. Her condition is unclear right now. FPL finally removed a dangerous bamboo tree 9 years after a teen was electrocuted. 15-year-old Justin Dominguez was killed when the tree touched a power line in 2011. Lawyers working with Trisha Dominguez, the teen's mother, tells us the bamboo was sprayed with herbicide this week. A jury awarded Dominguez $24 million in a lawsuit against the company. Dominguez's attorneys tell us they will have an expert check the site to make sure the bamboo tree doesn't regrow.
And new on the Nightbeat, watch your speed. Northport police are stepping up patrols to crack down on drivers breaking the speed limit. The police department has received complaints of speeding along Woodhaven Drive. They're also looking for no-through truck violators. Drivers are cautioned to watch their speed and take proper routes if driving a commercial motor vehicle.
A season of giving is a season of hunting for crooks trying to make a quick buck. New tonight, more than a dozen homeowners in Lehigh Acres say burglars broke into their vehicle overnight. It all happened within the highlighted area, not far from Lee Boulevard and State Road 82. The Nightbeat's Taylor Bisacki is live in Lehigh Acres with neighbors' concerns. Taylor.
14 cars were hit according to just these sheriff's office documents. Now, we went door to door and quickly learned it's much more than that. Some neighbors say their cars were rummaged through. Nothing was taken though, so they didn't report it.
I feel violated and it kind of ticks me off, you know. I feel like I want to go out there and find them myself.
Neighbors in this Lehigh Acres neighborhood are fed up after dozens of their cars were targeted. From money to speakers, many items are now missing on 12th to 14th Street Southwest and other areas within a few miles.
They took my green card and my money, my license, my social security, everything.
Darlene Sanavan is from Haiti. She planned to go there in January to visit her mom. But now without all of her identification cards, she doesn't know if she'll make it there.
It made me so bad. And then I miss my mom. I want to see my mom.
Other neighbors say they're not surprised because it's happened before.
I've been hit here 3 times, from my boat getting parts stolen off of it to my trailer getting stolen, my 4-wheeler's getting stolen. And the only thing I retrieved is 1 bike and my trailer back. The rest of it, it's a loss, $22,000 gone.
Now many are on high alert.
Take your stuff out of your car, lock your car up. That's all we can do. Or put cameras in your house.
Keeping watch of who's in their neighborhood.
Just hope that they put some kind of neighborhood protection in here, neighborhood watch system with signs or something to help out the neighborhood.
Other neighbors say they're missing garage clickers, thinking that those thieves will be back in the area. It's another reminder to stay vigilant and make sure you lock your doors at night. Live on the Night Beat, Taylor Bisacki, Wink News Now.
Well, thank you, Taylor. And right now, Lee County deputies are looking for the person who broke into a Bonita Springs home. Only on Wink News will you see this. They watched them go through neighbors' backyards on Shriver Avenue. According to a police report, a woman came home to her door open and a strange man inside, but the victim wasn't hurt and nothing was taken from her house.
The Punta Gorda Police Department is denying a fired officer's petition for a pension. Officer Lee Cole was fired from the force following the death of librarian Mary Knowlton. Cole fatally shot Knowlton during a Citizens Academy demonstration. Cole is awaiting trial for a felony manslaughter charge.
A prank call cost a man his life.
Shot fired, one down at the front.
Police in Wichita, Kansas say they fell victim to swatting. That's when someone calls in a fake threat as a prank. Well, in this case, a 28-year-old man lost his life. The caller said he was armed and holding hostages and made threats. Police responded and shot him after they say he was reaching for his waistband. The FBI is now taking part in this investigation, and we've had at least 2 cases of swatting here in Southwest Florida since 2015. And today marks 45 years since a deadly plane crash in Southwest Florida. Eastern Flight 401 went down in the Everglades. Investigators say while approaching Miami, the pilots were distracted by a burnt-out cockpit indicator light and didn't notice the autopilot got turned off. The plane started losing altitude, and by the time the crew noticed, it was too late. 101 people died in this crash. There's a memorial honoring their lives on Alligator Alley.
New tonight, the biscuits in your home may contain listeria. Southeastern Grocers is recalling some of their biscuits sold at Winn-Dixie stores. Buttermilk, buttermilk dough, and frozen dough, Southern style and Southern style dough biscuits are the products affected. If you have any one of these, throw them out.
And on New Year's Day, Florida's minimum wage is going up. It will now be $8.25 an hour. And small business owners at Fisherman's Village in Punta Gorda say they aren't worried. One, because some of them already pay more than the minimum wage, and also because of President Donald Trump's new tax plan just signed into law.
President Trump has a history as a businessman, so we're hopeful that a lot of his thoughts regarding business can work their way down.
I hope that it continues to allow small businesses to grow, which I think is very important for our future.
But several business owners say the tax plan is still so new, so no one really knows for sure how it will impact them, but they are hopeful.
If you're looking for a job, Collier County is looking to fill several positions.
We're letting you know that Collier County government has several new career and volunteer opportunities available right now.
Right now, the county has dozens of openings on their website, but act fast. Applications for at least 14 of them are due next week.
Our waterways are finally getting a break from Lake Okeechobee water releases. After Irma, the lake reached its highest level this year since 2004. and water releases were raising concerns as we saw murky water along our shores. But the Army Corps is reducing the flow into our waters, and by next Friday, the releases will be back to typical levels for the dry season. And before we head to break, let's check in on Southwest Florida's famous eagle family. This is a live look at the nest in North Fort Myers. You see Harriet there protecting her 2 eaglets that hatched earlier this week. You can watch live anytime on the Wink News app. And a daring escape caught on camera. A suspect slips out of handcuffs and steals a police car. The high-speed chase just ahead.
I'm tracking a few clouds over us right now. I'll tell you what to expect in the morning in your wake-up weather forecast, and our cool temperatures become cold temperatures coming up.
And cracked and caving in, dangerous seawalls are still in shambles after Hurricane Irma. What's it going to take to finally fix them? Next.
Cracked and crumbling. Seawalls are still damaged months after Hurricane Irma, and the repairs are expected to cost many of you tens of thousands of dollars. And will they ever get fixed? Wink News Call for Action reporter Michelle Kingston spoke to people today who are still dealing with what Irma left behind.
It's nerve-wracking. You don't know. You hear every creak you hear, you jump up.
This was the scene in dozens of backyards after Hurricane Irma. Seawalls crumbling into canals. So many of you distraught, upset, nervous about the damage.
We definitely did not expect to come home to this.
It was like being hit like a punch in the stomach.
I think it's horrible.
Upsetting is putting it mildly.
Since September, Wink showed you people speaking at council and commissioners meetings, demanding help to pay for the pricey repairs. Cape Coral is the only local town offering homeowners low-interest loans through the PACE program. City leaders say they'll bring 1 or 2 contracts to City Council in February. Other people are trying their luck at SBA loans, like Mike Burke, whose seawall and back patio cracked and is now caving in.
At least in my case, I do have hope that SBA is going to help me. Some of my other neighbors are not going to have that benefit for one reason or another.
We checked and found many of the seawalls we reported on after the storm are still in need of help or have temporary fixes until crews can get there to assist. Haunch Marine told us today they've only been able to evaluate about half of the post-Irma calls they've received because there have been so many, leaving most of you, just like Mike, waiting and wondering when they'll feel safe in their homes again.
If it did let go, it would be a scary thing.
Michelle Kingston, Wink News Now.
Haunch Marine says it is likely it will take the whole industry 3 to 5 years to complete all of the Irma repairs.
A stunning update from Puerto Rico tonight. Nearly half of electricity customers are still without power. Hurricane Maria hit more than 3 months ago. Officials said today that only 55% of the nearly 1.5 million customers have power. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has said the entire island will have power by May. A dangerous cold snap continues to grip more than half of America. Parts of the Northeast are expected to feel wind chills 20 to 40 degrees below zero. Water fountains in Philadelphia and New York City are now mountains of ice. In New Hampshire, boiling water instantly froze due to a record temperature of negative 34 degrees.
And check this out. Here in Florida, cooler weather is on the way. Forecasters in Tampa say they could see some snow flurries next week. But of course, we'll have to wait and see what actually happens. I find it really hard to believe that we'll see snow flurries here.
It's not going to happen. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know where we come up with this stuff.
Come on.
It is not going to happen. Temps in Tampa are not going to drop below 40 degrees. Okay. It's going to get cool, and then it's going to get cold, though. It's getting that way now already. Temperatures have run about 5 to Thursday and Friday mornings.
A new video tonight. We're seeing the aftermath inside a Bronx apartment building where 12 people died in the fire. You can see black soot on the walls and water on the floor there. The fire started in the kitchen on the first floor of the building. New York City Fire Commissioner says the fire was accidentally started by a toddler playing with his mother's stove. His mother grabbed her children and ran, but left the door open.
The stairway acted like a chimney. It took the fire so quickly upstairs that people had very little time to react. They couldn't get back down the stairs. Those that tried, a few of them perished.
A city spokesperson says the building was required to have self-closing doors. Investigators will look at why the family's door did not close.
President Trump invited members of the Coast Guard to play golf at his West Palm Beach club today. The president thanks them for their service during the recent hurricanes in Florida and Texas.
Did in Texas saved 16,000 people.
It's unheard of. They'll say I took a triple bogey, but I actually got a birdie.
The president also talked to a New York Times reporter. During the interview, he repeatedly denied there was any collusion between his campaign and Russia. And he says special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling is bad for the country. He said it makes the country look very bad and it puts the country in a very bad position. Meanwhile, the president is taking a jab at the U.S. Postal Service and criticizing how it does business. He wants to know why the Postal Service is charging Amazon and others so little to deliver their packages. The president tweeted, "It's making Amazon richer and the post office dumber and poorer." The Postal Service says a commission determines postal rates. That panel raised prices on packages by almost 2% last month.
At noon tonight, mystery writer Sue Grafton has died. Her daughter says she lost a 2-year battle with cancer and was surrounded by family in Santa Barbara, California. Grafton was the author of the so-called Alphabet series, in which each book title begins with a letter from the alphabet. She was 77 years old. And caught on camera, check this out. A suspect slips out of her handcuffs and steals a police car. This happened in Sumter County, South Carolina. A camera inside the patrol car captured the bold escape, as you see there. The 21-year-old woman climbed over the seats and nearly ran over 2 officers. The chase reached 105 miles per hour. She eventually crashed and officers took her into custody.
Well, call it a stroke of luck. It's every golfer's dream to get a hole-in-one. A Southwest Florida man does it not once, but twice. His incredible story next.
The new details of one of Southwest Florida's most well-known high school football coaches. Well, he's stepping down. After 6 years, Coach Larry Gary is resigning from his position as Cape Coral High's head coach. Gary was the first African-American coach in Lee County history. The Lee County School District says Gary plans to focus on his personal life outside of football. He will still be at the school as a PE teacher. And college football fans are ready for a big game this weekend. Miami and Wisconsin are duking it out for the Orange Bowl. The 2 coaches met today in front of the Orange Bowl trophy, complete with, of course, Florida oranges. Well, Week News Sports will be there bringing you live coverage. You can tune into all the excitement starting tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on Wink TV. Wink News will be right back.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is up next.
And tomorrow, wake up with Wink News this morning starting at 6 a.m. and we'll leave you with a live picture of Harriet and her eaglets in North Fort Myers. Have a great night.